It's going. It says going, going, going. Okay, go.
Okay, so this is a really fun topic for me, and even if you are not performance degree, even if you are education degree or music minor, anything, this is a very good topic because it can apply to public speaking stuff like that, or even job interviews, that anything that would put you in a place under pressure. So I have a little PowerPoint to share with you guys. I'm gonna screen share and then okay, can everybody see? Okay,
Yes.
great. So I like to call this performance psychology because I think that performance anxiety has a little bit of a negative feeling to it, and I will explain as we go. So, what is performance anxiety? We all know what it is, but I will just go over. It is uncontrolled rush of energy or adrenaline that is meant to help you do your best, actually. And in some places, you might see this called fight or flight response. And this means basically we have a, half animal nature. And whenever an animal is in a life threatening situation, they either want to run away as fast as they can or fight back as hard as they can. And that's why the adrenaline is, overproducing, increasing your strength, and you are ready to go, ready to run. And we experience this in the performance situations sometimes. Our mind thinks that it's a life threatening situation. So that is the fight or flight response. And this is also, because you really care about what you are doing. You really like to do well. You really want to, put your best, and you really care. So that's why, you might feel nervous. So my question is just something to think about, not necessarily answer, but is this something we need to get rid of or learn how to transform? So we will go over the symptoms. Here are some physical things. It's different on everybody, of course, but one of the most common ones is shortness of breath, pounding heart, shaking, sweating, dry mouth. Of course, if you are playing, these things can really affect your playing. And if you are talking, you will also feel some of that too, with your breathing, your pacing, your thinking, your focusing. So let's continue into the mental symptoms since I already got in there. So there's one big thing, there's negative self talk. So, this brain is always saying things to you, right? When you are performing, there's always someone, I mean yourself, commenting or telling what to do, what is going bad, or sometimes pressuring words. And it tends to be negative when there is a stressful situation. And this is mostly because there is a lack of focus. The left brain is a very smart thing, and it's the one that questions and analyzes things, right? That's the left brain. And the negative self-talk is coming from the left brain because it doesn't know where to focus unless you make it. Okay, so we have to educate the left brain, or not educate but guide. So, and then there's the panicking, which is, basically the result of the negative self-talk or thinking that you're in a life danger. And confusion is another one. It's hard to focus because there is this heartbeat and everything going on. Lack of concentration is about the similar mental effect. So here are some possible reasons. Now, I actually, in my master's, I wrote a paper about the reasons of performance anxiety, and my thinking behind that was, if you know the reason, you can treat it, right? You can diagnose, and then you can fix what is need to be fixed. But eventually I found it is a little more than that. It's different. It's not something we should just, get rid of or fix, like I was sort of hinting in the beginning. So the possible reasons, again, negative self-talk, lack of self-confidence, could be low self-esteem, could be lack of preparation. That's one of the big ones. Of course, that affects your confidence too. Fear of failure, just putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, or just being in a new environment where you have to, impress people, colleagues, or show that you are a good musician or a good candidate for whatever it is. And it could be a new work culture as well. I just put it as a cultural shock, but it could be a different country, different town, different job, different school. You just started, every place has a little different culture. And then worrying about the outcomes or what people think. That is one of the, lack of concentration. I mean, these can all go into that, but worrying about the outcomes is a big one, because you are, focusing about the result or what people are thinking instead of just focusing on what's going on at the moment. And then, of course, there is not being able to concentrate, because everything we do is done by brain, right? Concentration. Okay, now transformation. How do we transform this? Now, this is a big list. I will go on, each topic, and I will sort of explain. So first one we will get into is mind follows body and body follows mind. Now, a few years ago, I was taking Alexander technique, and then later I ended up taking some, body mapping, and then I got into yoga, and I recently even become yoga teacher as well. So what I learned is that there are many researches that shows that whatever your body does, your mind does the same thing. It's the, how you feel. So whatever you feel, your body follows. So brain and body cannot move separately. When I'm feeling nervous or something or insecure, I'm, likely to slouch or close your neck, because that's where the animal would attack you, right? The fight or flight. So if I'm gonna be feeling like I'm gonna attack, I'll be sitting like this, maybe just like one hand here. And the more I do this, the more my brain thinks that I'm in a danger. It's like, oh, I'm actually holding my neck, I'm actually slouching, I'm breathing very shallow, my shoulders are tense. That means I'm really in a danger, so I must freak out more. That's what the brain says. And then the body also gets even more slouchy, even less shallow. So it's like a little cycle going on, it just affects each other. So we have the choice to just break this cycle by, at least the easiest thing is just changing your body in a way that would be more confident, right? It could be as simple as first adjusting the posture, or as simple as breathing lower, releasing the abdominal muscles, to let yourself to do that low breathing. And then the brain says, oh, I'm breathing really low, and I'm very relaxed in my, abdominal muscles, and I'm really nicely aligned. Well, I guess it's not that bad then. I guess I'm not in a bad situation. So brain really believes that. It's really possible to, change yourself like that. So next one is the body awareness. So it's very similar with the, mind and body following each other. But in this one, I want to get a bit more specific, at least based on my own experiences. So do you have any body parts tensing up during a performance? And where do you feel your nerves the most? So for me, I recognized a lot of tension points in the past. And I also experimented with trying to releasing each of these places. And for my experience, I found the lower abs area is the one that helps me to ground myself the most. So then if I'm able to release that, I'm not only able to breathe a lot deeper and lower, but also just to have that relaxation just comes in, because my body thinks I'm at home. I'm just chilling. That's what my brain thinks when I do that. And just, I would say, if you have, some anxious moments, try experimenting with this. The tension could be, between the eyebrows where we focus a lot. It could be on the shoulders, it could be on the neck, it could be like me on the abdominals, it could be on the knees, ankles, feet. Everything is really important. So see if relaxing any of this really makes a change for you. The next thing we have is something called centering. So it's basically doing some breathing exercise. So you are gonna be doing some heart rate exercise, like a cardio, running or going up and down the stairs, and get this fast heart rate. And then you'll be doing the breathing and try to bring your relaxation and bring your rate lower. So for this, we can actually try the breathing. Now there are different types of breathing exercises, but the one that would calm you is inhaling, exhaling, let's say 4 beats each, and then wait after exhaling another 4 beats. So you're gonna stay when you have no air, and that's the moment that brings you down. If you want to energize yourself, you do it the opposite way. So you inhale and then you wait at the top for 4 beats, and then you exhale for 4 beats and then inhale again. That's for energizing if you have difficulty, waking up. But for this one, we want to relax. So why don't we actually try this exercise together? Since it doesn't require anything, we will just do the breathing. We will breathe 4, exhale 4, wait 4 beats, and then repeat. Let's just try how it feels, okay? Everybody ready? Breathing nice and low and relaxed. Ready? Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale again 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait 2, 3, 4. Does it feel a little calming? It should, feel like more grounding in comparison to other breathing techniques. So the key is giving a little bit break after you exhale. Now, this idea comes from the book called Performance Success by Don Green. He's a famous performance coach. If you like to read something, that could be a nice book to go over. Now I will continue to the next suggestions. So then there is also grounding. You will hear this all the time. What is grounding really? It's aligning your body and letting your weight evenly distribute on your feet while keeping soft shoulders, neck, hips, knees, ankles. So basically keeping all the joints as soft as you can while letting all of your weight rest on the feet. I like to do moving slightly back and forth or side to side to check on the softness of the joints. You can do this while you play too, during a performance. It's very effective. You're able to check yourself if I'm aligned, so it's like a awareness exercise. And if you are into this kind of stuff, you can also practice this by meditating or, reading about the root chakra or yoga. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it can be something, you know, you can look into if you like. Okay, so the next idea is something to help with the negative self-talk. This is giving your brain details to think about. So really thinking about the details of the piece, for example, right? So our brain is getting very active, the adrenaline is rushing, you are thinking 5 times faster than you've ever thought, and learning the repertoire in depth and having concrete musical ideas for every single note or sound will not leave any room for the negative self-talk. So you are basically finding something to concentrate, and you have no room to worry or insult yourself or pressure yourself, anything like that. Because our brains can only do one thing at a time. If you are multitasking, you are jumping back and forth very quickly, but you are not doing exactly at the same time. You are jumping every half second maybe, you know. So it's really important to just be very detail oriented. Every single note, you know, every single sound you make, and then you'll probably be very busy to think about anything else. Now, this is my favorite thing. Personally, if I have no nerves, I can't play my best anymore. Maybe I could 10 years ago, but once you know, your energy settles down, and after, let's say, late 20s, maybe into your 30s, you just need the energy, like you need the rush to be able to do your best. And that's why adrenaline exists anyway, right? So it gives us that extra physical energy and strength, but it has to be channeled. We have to guide it. We have to be practicing it, because it's not very easy to guide sometimes. So for example, you can put this into physical parts of your playing, like the air you are blowing, you know, that's the best thing, or your abdominal support while you are pushing the air out, you know. That's a really relieving thing to do. You can also try blowing before you go on the stage, or before interview, anything, before public speech. You can just start. I mean, maybe some people will think you are crazy, but that's fine. Just don't care about it. It feels great, because as you are blowing that air, you are blowing out that energy that's stuck inside you. Wants to run. You want to run. You want to move, right? That's why. Okay, so this is very important and my favorite point of the presentation. I'll continue now. Practicing getting nervous. So this is very important, of course. We need to perform as much as possible to practice how to feel ourselves, you know, what to release, what to pay attention, or what to concentrate, because it's different for everybody. But I mean, combination of some of these are gonna definitely work. So I would say try to play for friends, colleagues, people, pets. If not, putting on social media, live stream, anything, just anything to make yourself uncomfortable is a great practice. And the more we do it, you know, the better we get about how to guide this energy. Now, conclusion. Let's see. Am I able to see this? Yes. So let me know if you have any questions about this. Maybe it gets a little too philosophical. The performance anxiety is a subconscious reaction, not a conscious response, because we have an animal instinct, right? So that response just comes up, not the response, reaction just pops up without us doing anything. So I continue. Our reactions come from our animal nature or past traumas. As humans, we always have the freedom to choose awareness over panicking. Regularly practicing and reviewing the combination of the previous ideas will be effective in performing well under pressure. And then I have a little quote, every time you are tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you want to be a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. So basically, just being in the moment and making a new decision every moment would be a very good thing for pretty much everything, right? Okay, so here are some books if you are, interested in looking at them in your library or buying them on Amazon or any place. Some of the recommendations. So this is my PowerPoint. Now I can take any questions if you guys have questions.
I'm gonna have to call on you guys, like always.
I'll go. So do you have any like superstitions, like a lucky pair of socks or a good mouth to read or something that you believe in? Do you think that helps?
Well, it can, let me think. Not very particularly. I don't have something like that, but if you choose to believe, that, oh, this bracelet or this, shirt is my lucky shirt, because you are believing, of course it's gonna work. It's totally gonna work. So if you have a lucky shirt, wear that.
I'll go. Do you have any advice for maybe calming other people down? I personally don't have like too bad of an issue with keeping my nerves down, but especially when I was in high school, a lot of the younger kids would get super nervous and be crying before.
You cut out at the end, Kinley.
Pretty much I was just saying, like, how do you handle calming other people down? Because even like when other people start freaking out, the energy's bad. You're just like, oh, maybe I'm freak out too. How do you handle that?
That's a great question, actually. Especially as a teacher, you might see this a lot. And I think what they need to understand is that it's okay to make mistakes because they are just afraid of making mistakes. They think they are gonna die if they make mistakes. Well, I mean, it's really not a life or death situation. They have to understand and accept this. And, here is the funny thing. The more we try to avoid mistakes, the more likely they are to happen. So giving yourself that permission to make mistake and, telling the student it's fine to make mistake. Everybody make mistakes. Just go make mistakes, please. If you say that, they will play with no mistake. I mean that's what comes out because they really don't care anymore. But really, they need to know it's a good thing to be nervous, but also they need to know it's not the end of the life. It's not a big deal. It's more about the big picture and enjoying and sharing what you want to share. So just a little talk, I guess. And if that's not helping, let them run around a little bit because maybe there's too much energy getting stuck.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so my question, I know whenever I get performance anxiety, I know something I do is I'll start to my hands will start to tremble. So what is something you think I could do to help calm that down even if I'm in the middle of playing?
Oh, like a hand shaking?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the best way to help with the handshaking is to enjoy the handshaking. I know it sounds crazy because I used to have a really really shaky hand situation and I would just say stop shaking, I would be really mad. I would be like stop shaking or I'm going to kill you. And the more you do that kind of attitude, the more it's gonna shake because the more tension you will get trying to stop the shake. So what we have to say is, You are shaking and it's fine. I don't care. Continue shaking. Shake more. Shake more. Show me what you got. You know, you're shaking. I'm playing. So if you are really, really, really well prepared, it's not gonna affect too much anyway. It's just gonna be a visual thing. And I mean, people usually don't notice the shaking anyway. It's you are feeling everything so much, but people who are watching you, they don't even see the shake. So it really doesn't matter too much. Even if they see you shake, so what? Aren't they human? Don't they shake themselves? Yes, they do. So it's really I've seen people shake, huge professionals, you know, people auditioning for huge jobs, and nobody was saying, oh, terrible, they were shaking so much. Nobody said that. Everybody said, well, it's a lot of pressure, you know. It's a big job. It could be rest of your life, maybe, you know, if you get it. So of course they feel a lot of pressure. But the best thing is just to accept and say, show me what you got. Shake more.
Thank you.
Zach.
I had one, but it escaped me. Let me think. Is there like, so you had said like a way to practice getting nervous is to like play in front of people, and I know obviously like with COVID and things like that, that's a lot harder to do. My internet also really sucks, so live streaming isn't necessarily the best option for me. Is there other ways that I could practice like getting nervous?
Yeah, a couple things. You can do an, you know, outdoors thing, maybe in a backyard or garden or campus or anything outdoors. Or you could just run up and down the stairs, get the heart rate up, be out of breath, out of focus, and try to play like that. You know, it could be something to recreate at least some of the symptoms going.
Chris.
Is there any point where you think performance anxiety can like just like completely disappear, or do you think it just becomes more manageable?
Well, I think, you know, as people, we change a lot as we get older, of course. And, you know, things you like change, things you are afraid might change, or. But about performance anxiety, I mean, if you have a lot of it, you have some certain type of personality. Probably that tends to get more anxiety. It could happen, it could be the case. And if that's the case, it may not go away, or it could go away because maybe you change after age 40, something happens. You know, you never know. But I think it's not a big deal if it doesn't change, because as far as I know, 99% of musicians are getting nervous. It's really weird. I've met very few people who don't get nervous, and they are really strange in my opinion. But and even most people who say I don't get nervous, I've seen them get nervous. They just say I don't get nervous, just denying. So I think it's fine if it doesn't go away. I think it's part of being human and part of what we do, really, just being in front of people all the time, being in the spot. And, you know, it may or may not go away depending on your situation. I think it's a good idea to, you know, if you figure out, let's say, oh, maybe I have a fear of failure, or I have low confidence, maybe separately working on that as well. That could be nice. There are, you know, some books, some maybe, you know, videos or some therapy or whatever. Those things could help too. But I think in general, it's okay to be nervous, and it's okay to be not perfect.
I have a question. What are your thoughts on beta blockers?
You read my mind, you know, that just came to my mind. That's why we are best friends. So, beta blockers are a very interesting discussion. Some teachers say, don't ever use them, ever, never. And some teachers say, here is a beta blocker. And they secretly give it to you. So, in my opinion, I have tried them. and I never tried them until I was 25 actually. And then I tried them a few times after that. So, I mean, for the first few times, it was good. And it was nice to see how I could perform. So, I mean, so much as if I'm like at home and doing my best at the same time. Because if I'm at home playing, normally it's not 100% the best because I don't have enough adrenaline to push me. But with the beta blockers, sure, it was good for a couple times. But then once you have that feeling, you can actually, your brain knows how to recreate it. You already experienced it. If you tried it once, you can create it yourself. Because what happens is that your body builds up tolerance. So you start with half a pill and then you have to take more, and then you might have to take more than what? Like how many pills are you gonna take? And you know what? It's bad. It's not good for your heart. They say there is no side effect. There is a side effect to every single medicine you take. They just don't say it. It's a chemical substance that is not naturally are putting in your body. And I mean, I don't like to take any pill unless, you know, unless I get very sick. Of course, that's different if it's really absolutely necessary. But I recommend not to take them. And if it's really severe, try it. You know, get a prescription, try it. But I have a better solution, especially if your symptom is being shaky. I recommend drinking the Gatorade, Powerade, those drinks. It has the electrolytes, sodium, stuff like that, and it helps keeping your hydration levels. It also helps if you have your blood sugar dropping, you know, or blood pressure dropping. That's why you are getting shaky in most cases. It helps with that stuff. So I think that's a better solution. If you haven't tried it yet, I think you might want to try. Maybe get like no sugar, zero, you know, version. And try drinking 1 or 2 bottles if you want to try. One thing about those, it might cause dry mouth sometimes. If that affects you, I don't know. I don't play saxophone, but as a flutist, it's not great thing to have. But you might get used to it, and I think it's a better option than taking beta blocker. And some people eat banana. Try that too. Doesn't work. Banana makes me worse. I don't know why. Maybe it just makes me more energetic. But some people really swear by banana too.
Jay.
So if you're like about to perform and your anxiety kicks in and you take every possible precaution that you can, what can you do if you still can't get yourself to calm down?
I mean, yeah, that could possibly happen if you know, you are not in a good place mentally. Let's say, you know, maybe you had a difficult day, or you know, some extra things happened. Maybe it's extra hard to focus yourself. I would say you could, you know, try to avoid too much interaction and really have some alone time. I think it's really important sometimes to have an alone time and just talk to yourself and really be like, okay, you know, this is not end of my life, and it's not more important than me. Okay, so really you wanna find a way to focus, because this is lack of focus. If you are not able to calm down, that's lack of concentration, and we need to find a way how you can calm yourself. And for me, one of the most effective ways would be the releasing lower abs, because you will feel a discomfort somewhere in your body. Okay, so when you are nervous, where are you feeling this discomfort or tension? And it's really important trying to release that, because that's where the energy is. And once you release it, you are gonna trick your brain into thinking, oh, it's actually not that bad. Oh, it's actually not that big of a deal. So you want to, you know, make your brain think that by controlling your physical tension. And also, if you have time and if it's really, really terrible, like let's say if you have like 45 minutes, then you can really try taking the energy out by running a little bit. Maybe like 10 minutes. Not right before you play, of course. That's a terrible idea, but maybe 30 minutes before you played. That might be good. And depends on what kind of, symptoms, of course. I'm referring to mostly the fast heartbeats, the shakiness. I'm referring to that one mostly, if that's the case. And I think it's important, how we practice every day. Before a performance, I would just recommend sitting down and thinking, visualizing about this performance and thinking about, what body part you are going to try to release, what parts of the phrase you are going to think, what sound you are going to focus on, how you are going to move your body, and how you are going to try to release this thing that's holding you and shaking you. But not fighting against, just embracing and trying to just release the energy as a music, because you can put that energy into the music. So I think it's really important to practice this idea just by thinking about all this stuff. It sounds like a very small thing, but it can be as important as practicing. That was a good question. I mean, all these questions are great, by the way.
Thank you.
If anyone is like me and gets dry mouth, anybody out there? Sort of? You guys don't? Really? Whoa. That's my issue. They make dry mouth lozenges, by the way. I have one before every performance. Just saying.
That's cool. I had some dry mouth at some point, and I found that eating anything sweet helps because you start, producing. It helps. Some people say drink water, but water can make it a bit drier at times because, afterwards everything is taken away. But when you eat sweet, like I tried raisins or any dried fruits, dryness is gone. But if you eat salty before, that's terrible. Extra dry, right? If you eat chips before, that's gonna be not great. Any other question?
Who else has a question? Hello? I'll ask another one. How do you specifically harness nervous energy? I know you touched on it a little bit, but like what's going through your brain when you're performing?
What is going through my brain? I am trying to really, focus on the phrase, of course, but I try to focus on breathing as much as I can. You know how the breath gets shallow, like up here? I'm trying to get it as low as possible, and that's only possible if you are releasing the lower abs all the way to hang out. That's my, for my case, that's the difficulty. The area where they call pelvis, that area just wants to be tense. If you can release it, that's the time you're in your pajamas. That's how I like to say. If you're in the pajama mode, your brain thinks you're safe. There's no worries, no problem, no nothing. So for me, that's the biggest key. If I can release that, then I can take more air, then I can blow more air, then I can play better. And if I'm blowing more air, that energy is coming out already, right? So that nervous energy is coming out already. And without that, I can't imagine. I mean, here's one little story. One time I was really nervous about this one solo I was gonna play in orchestra. Everybody knew this solo. Everybody knew by ear. and it was something I really wanted to do. Well, it was an important situation, and I said maybe I'll try taking a small tiny bit of beta blocker, just like a half, you know. Okay, and then I did that, and then I was too calm to play. Do you know what happened? I played so slow. It was already a slow solo. I played slower, and conductor went slower, and it was just very slow. So I needed the nerves, and that was my moment. I said I desperately need nerves because I can't do it without that energy. It just gives you that extra focus, that sharp energy, you know, that pressure. Maybe it's from performing too much. I don't know. That could be the case too. Maybe I'm addicted to adrenaline, but you know, that ends up being the case for performance, I guess. So that's my process.
I have one other thing, just because I'm curious. I do this thing, and I've told some of my students, maybe not everybody yet, but I do a thing that one of my professors told me in my undergrad when I used to be really, 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 really nervous all the time. If you can imagine that, right, you guys?
Yeah.
And he made me, before one of my recitals, he told me to go into his office and lock the door, and there was a mirror in there, and I had to stand in front of the mirror and tell myself I was the best saxophonist in the world, except he had some more expletives in front of that. And he was like, you have to do it for 10 minutes. And I'm standing outside the door, can't come out until then. So ever since then, I actually do that in my head before I play. I know it's not true, you guys, don't worry. But I sit there, I'm like, okay, you're the best saxophonist in the entire world. This is going to be really awesome. This is going to be really great. And I just do that for like 10 minutes before I play, and it really makes a huge difference for me. But I don't know what you think about that, or if you do that.
No, I think that's a really good idea. Just like some positive affirmation, and helps with the confidence probably. And yeah, really nice idea.
Anybody have anything else? No.
Do you have, sorry, do you have like any group exercises? I was talking about like getting nerves down. You mentioned like, of course, talking to them. But do you have anything like breathing or like any meditation or anything that you could do with the group to calm them down?
Yes, I would do that breathing exercise where you breathe 4, exhale 4, and then wait for 4. And then I would do, if it's not right before performance, I would help them, you know, exercise a little bit, just do this running thing to get the heart rate up, and then do that breathing. I think that's even better. And then playing in front of each other, taking turns, of course. And maybe, you know, people telling each other what they like about this one certain person's playing, and just, you know, showing that people actually enjoy. And what else could be a good thing? There could be meditation. You know, there could be some visualizing. Everybody close your eyes, and then really, you know, like a constructive resting where you feel every single part of your body. You start from your toe, and then, you know, you go until your pinky toe, you go to your up to your knee very slowly. You know, you are talking very slowly, of course. And then feel your upper leg, and then, you know, how is your back. And then you could also make it like a story. You could say, think about all these people that you worry about what they're gonna think, and then, you know, you think about, you name them one by one, and then each of them, you take the time with each of them to put them in a box with your eyes closed, and then still eyes closed, start playing on that stage that you'll be playing, imagining. and then you might still feel nervous because you are really imagining, visualizing that playing moment. But then when it's the real thing, I experienced that working once. That was some workshop I did with somebody, and then it ended up interestingly working. So there are a bunch of ideas, or it could be an improvisation. Everybody gets up and plays a random thing because we are afraid of making mistake, right? Well, guess what? There is no way you can play right when you're improvising. So everybody get up, take a turn, improvise, and then maybe they also improvise the story at the same time. So you have to say a sentence, play some random thing, next person, and then you create a whole story and you have to play and you have to make story. I think that's also a great one, and it really would help with the performance anxiety because you're putting everybody in the spot all of a sudden, and they see it shouldn't be so serious and scary to do something in front of someone. That's a great question to ask, actually.
Anybody else? You all good? Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course, this was fun, and thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much, guys, for great questions.
Do that thing I like you guys to do. Go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome, guys. So nice.
Okay, don't forget your lessons tomorrow. And everybody go vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
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 Dr. Laboda.
Yes.
So that solo came in yesterday.
Yes.
What would you like me to do?
You don't need to play it tomorrow. You'll be fine. So
Okay.
we'll talk about it then.
All right. I'm also
Okay.
still working on the minor scales. Kind of working, kind of not.
Yeah. Bye.